What's up? This is Brian Kuzma with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals for our Thursday. What is today? March 25th. I can't believe it. The month is already almost over here. Beautiful day out here. Looks like it's a little warmer by at least, 60 degrees the other day. Now it's 78, 18 degrees higher. Getting back into our hot months again. Still, look at that watercolor, man. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Man, I hope I can get out and do some fishing this weekend. We'll see. Well, what's going on with gold, silver, and precious metal prices? They were down a little bit last night. I was expecting that we would see Europe kind of leading the way and London markets kind of leading the way into New York, like they have been off and on for the last year. But looks like New York opened a little bit higher than what London and European and Asian markets were last night. And my recommendations, again, with precious metals are and have been buy the frickin' dips. Just buy the dips. Whenever you see a dip, buy it. In fact, don't even focus on dips. If you don't have the money at a particular time and you can't time buying the frickin' dips, just keep buying this stuff. Sub $2,000 gold is cheap, 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 cheap. Sub $30, sub $50 silver is cheap in my opinion, really. But I'm going to go with sub $30. So sub $30 and sub $2,000 gold is just cheap, man. You're going to look at that, even if you paid $1,950, $2,000 an ounce, and you're thinking like, oh, I didn't get the low at 17, you're lamenting that you didn't buy at the lows. Silver actually never took quite the crap that gold did, but there's a lot of reasons that gold went down further than silver, and it has to do with BlackRock and the ETFs from last year. We discussed that in a few different videos I've done. BlackRock is the 800-pound gorilla in the gold and silver ETF market. They actually own the two major ETFs there, and they created out of thin air. Again, that's in my opinion, an evil company. They're like the what is it in Star Wars? The Darth Vader's group. I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but they're the evil empire for sure. People accuse JP of being the evil empire. No, folks, BlackRock is the evil empire. Most people don't even know their names. But if you get a chance, just Google BlackRock in ETFs. They are the major players, and they are the ones out there, in my opinion, manipulating this market around, manipulating it down, in cahoots with the London and the COMEX banks, and even the federal government, I believe, is involved with monkey hammer and precious metals. But we've gone into that dozens and dozens of times, and the best thing to do here is buy physical, stay away from ETFs, stay away from the bullshit paper that they produce, and just buy physical metals, gold and silver. Physical only, and hold it in your hands. Don't let other people hold it for you. That's another big mistake. The whole idea of owning gold, silver, and platinum is avoiding third-party risk, and if someone's holding it for you, that is third-party risk. And having a contract that says you own a piece of gold or silver, it's just a piece of paper. That's major third-party risk in my opinion. So that is all I'm going to say there. And let me move on here. Just keep buying the dips, folks. And if you can't buy the dips, just anything below $2,000 is cheap, in my opinion. Anything below $30 an ounce is cheap. Let's move along to gata.org. As I said, if you're a watcher of my videos frequently, you know that I tell you this has to be on your bookmark bar. You should be reading gata.org once a week. That's kind of my homework for you. What articles do they have here? Stephen Gleason's Fed crypto plans may turn Bitcoin bulls into gold bugs. Well, again, if you've been watching these videos, you know we've been talking about this for over a year. If there's one thing that governments and banks hate, they hate competition. And as much as my crypto fans out there really get pissy and get upset when I tell them that governments and banks hate competition, it's true, man. They really do, and they're not going to let that stand. In my opinion, they're not going to let that stand. So let's take a look at this article real quick. Fed's crypto plans may turn Bitcoin bulls into gold bugs. The globalist push for central bank digital currency is ramping up. On Monday, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell spoke at the Virtual Innovation Summit hosted by the Bank for International Settlements. By the way, the BIS is one of the organizations that Ted Butler and a lot of other gold bugs and silver people talk about, who are directly also involved in keeping gold and silver prices down. So there's an important name that a lot of people aren't familiar with either, like BlackRock. People that aren't familiar with a lot of these names. The central bank for central, and there's a reason why you don't know these names. They don't want you to know these names. They don't want you to know these people manipulate and monkey hammer markets. And again, that's my opinion. Let's go on to what it says down here. Powell aimed his remarks specifically at digital currencies, and he made it clear that the Bitcoin and other privately circulating cryptocurrencies should not be allowed to supplant government-controlled fiat notes. Again, I've been saying that for the last year consistently, that the government is the governments are either going to ban it entirely, like China and India has, and a lot of other countries have banned private crypto coins completely, just banned, not allowed, illegal, go to jail if you get caught messing with them. And as far as Bitcoin in the United States and Europe and other countries, well, I think it's got its foot in the door a little too much to be banned by the United States or banned by Europe or anything like that. So I don't think they're going to be banning the private cryptos, but what I think they'll do is they'll take it over and they'll also highly regulate it. At that point, it's nothing more than just a glorified money market, folks. And again, that's my opinion as well. So basically, Powell, the Fed chairman, the guy that makes all the rules and can print all the money, he's basically king of the world. Powell really is. He's bigger than the president, if you really think about it. He's basically said that he thinks Bitcoin and privately circulating crypto coins should not be allowed to supplant his currencies, his fiat notes, and his buddies, other central banks' currencies. So there it is right there, folks, right from the horse's mouth, right from the king himself. He wants cryptos gone, and you know what's going to happen? They will be. They will either be gone again, or highly regulated to the point where it's not the recognizable product that you once knew. Clearly, Bitcoin's recent surge to market capitalization of $1 trillion set off alarms within the global central banking cabal. The prospect of cryptocurrencies becoming widely used in commerce and trade pose an existential threat to the world monetary order, and this is absolutely true. Again, things that we've talked about for the last year. They don't want competition. They run the show. They are the kings. They can make the rules, and they do make the rules. And the rules say that crypto coins are not going to exist the way you think they should. They're going to exist the way they think they should, and they're going to be backed by a dollar and their fiat. Powell derided cryptocurrencies. Remember, the king derided them. They're highly volatile, therefore not really useful as stores of value, and they're not backed by anything. Oh, geez, I can't believe he said that. Well, first off, he's right. They are highly volatile. I've said that many times before. They're not useful as they're not useful for currency per se, like a dollar bill or something. But they are used as a store of value. I can see it's a better store of value than a dollar, that's for sure. Powell, you fucking hypocrite, excuse my language. And they're not backed by anything. Now that is the pot calling the kettle black. Powell saying that cryptos aren't backed by anything, that they're fiat. Oh my God, this man, how did he get that job? Anyways, some sound money advocates would agree with those criticisms. No, not really. Some of them no. But considering the source, a man who has digitally printed trillions of currency units not backed by anything and vowed to make them less valuable over time via inflation, they come off as disingenuous. For the remainder of the commentary, you can kind of click here, and I'm not going to go into that, but this leads into the next article that I was going to show you here. And where did that go? It's right here. Cryptos are crashing amid Bitcoin ban fears, and this is today. This article is fairly new. Cryptos are crashing amid Bitcoin ban fears and record options expirations. And the ban fear, people should be fearful right now because that's exactly the writing on the wall. When the guy that runs the world, Oz, like the Wizard of Oz, the guy behind the curtain, everybody else may think they are the kings, but really that is the king right there, Jerome Powell and his central banker buddies. When they say that Bitcoin is done and they don't want it, trust me, folks, it's done, and it won't be here much longer. At least, again, not in the form that you think it is. So I think a lot of smart people in cryptos are realizing this at the moment, are getting out. The whales will be the first to get out because mostly small investors get really fearful. They are afraid to miss out. They're afraid to sell. They're afraid to buy. So the whales will be the first ones out of cryptos. And what that'll do is that'll leaving all the small fish. And as I said, the crypto market, once the whales got into it, the market was spoiled, even if the government didn't ban it or didn't regulate it. Once the whales got in there, people like BlackRock, people like JP and all those other. Once they're in that market, you're screwed. The small guy's screwed, period. You're not going to make any money on that unless you know how the game is rigged. And if you do, play it. And, of course, you'll win. Let's take a look at some other articles here. Might take weeks. Suez Canal still closed. Now, I thought they had fixed that yesterday, and I had said, they said they pulled it out of the way, but I guess it's still blocking traffic, unfortunately. Which is not going to be good for oil prices if it stays there much longer. It might even cause a blip up in oil prices, I'm suspecting. Again, that just folds into the whole economy, the whole inflation thing, which is going to raise the price of gold, silver, and most precious metals. I think we're in a commodities boom here pretty soon, folks. And besides gold, silver, and platinum, I'm thinking I'm going to invest in other type commodities. But I got to figure safe ways to do it where it's not a piece of paper I own, where I can physically somehow own the commodity itself. That's a little tough to do right now. The nice thing about gold, silver, and platinum is you don't have to have a piece of paper. You can own it physically, and it's not hard to store. Why corporations are terrified of China. Peter Schiff, I like Peter Schiff's article, but I'm not going to read this, but he's absolutely correct. When Paul Krugman talks, nobody should listen. And I agree with that 100%. Cryptos are crashing. We know that. We did that already. All this stuff I'm kind of reading, headlines, Q4 GDP grow more than expected in final revision. Well, of course, finance was the biggest contributor to Q4 real GDP. That's just an illusion, folks. We're going to see a recovery in this country because we went from 80 miles per hour to 0 miles per hour last year. Now we're going to be up to 40, so it's going to look like a recovery, but it really isn't. I doubt we're ever going to get to the levels we were pre-2008. In fact, I don't think we're ever going to see pre-2008 levels. I think they're going to continue to plug the dam up, and then the dam is eventually going to burst. That's my opinion, of course. The number of Americans on jobless benefit rose last week despite initial claims drop. This is not good, not good, and not good. I think the economic and political decision makers in our country suck, personally, and they've made every decision wrong. And not just this administration, but the last administration, the administration before it. I don't know what's going on, folks, but we certainly don't have any geniuses in Washington, D.C. Maybe one that I like, Rand Paul. I'm a big fan of him in many ways. Fiscally, I am. Well, let me move along here because I digress again, and I'm going to move into comments, and I'm going to move into some other stuff here that, because not a lot here about gold or silver. Oh, Von Greiser, why buy gold when there's Bitcoin and Tesla? Well, I kind of clicked that article right here. I like this guy. He writes some great stuff. Instant gratification is what drives the world, and especially investment markets. I often hear complaints that gold is a useless investment since it doesn't go up fast enough. We heavily invested into gold ourselves, and our investors since 2002 when the price was $300. Since then, gold is up 6 times. Sure, it has not been a straight line, but there have been major corrections on the way. Well, that's like every good market. The beautiful thing about gold, silver, and precious metals is that not the paper, not the ETFs, not the contracts, but the beauty of the metal itself is that you will never wake up in the morning and hear it went bankrupt. You could wake up in the morning and hear that your pension and your 401k and the people that control it or the stocks inside it went bankrupt, belly up, but you will never hear that with gold, silver, and precious metals. Stocks are today's gargantuan risk, and I agree with that 100%. Bitcoin and Tesla are much more exciting, so why would an investor hold gold? An incredibly dull investment for a majority of people. If I tell investors that it's absolutely critical to hold gold for wealth preservation, for purposes such as the world financial system is the biggest bubble in history, most would ignore it or ridicule me. And we know we're in the biggest bubble in history, financial bubble right now, globally and the United States. And really, it's getting ready to blow at any time. What would you rather hold? An overpriced and overvaluated stock, equity, or a piece of paper that claims you own a gold or silver, or would you rather own the metal itself? So there's a lot of good reasons. Man, I read this whole article to you, but I'm going to really kind of put it on you here. Type in why buy gold when there is Bitcoin and Tesla. You can find it on Zero Hedge. You can also find it here. It should pop right up. It's written by Egon von Greiser. I like the stuff that these guys write, and if they're right, if their articles are as good as their company, then they're probably a good company too. But meanwhile, I'm not afraid to show you these different companies, even companies I really respect, because you know why? Because I can beat their prices. I'm that competitive. So if you're thinking about buying from Gold Switzerland, let me know what they're selling to you for, and I will beat their price. But no less. They write great articles, and if you're in their neighborhood or in their area, because I only deal face-to-face, by all means, give them a call. I think they're a great company. Let's move down here. Cassandra was always right. Why buy gold when there's Bitcoin and Tesla? Real stock market gains are 85% lower. Most people still measure assets in currencies like dollars, pounds, or euros that are dropping faster than Niagara Falls. If you want to know your real stock market gains since 2000, you should deduct 85% since that's the loss of the dollar's purchasing power in real terms since then. More than 99% of investors will lost money on that basis. So you think you made a lot of money since 2000 with that particular, well, you can knock off a lot of it because of inflation. Gold, $3,000 next. And talking about inflation, we talk about that with gold and silver as well. You know, if gold goes up to $3,000 an ounce, $5,000 an ounce, you know, chances are it'll go up real quick before the economy really reacts to it. But at some point, inflation is going to go so high. You know, if gold's $3,000, but you have to pay $50 for a loaf of bread, you know, the best thing you've done is wealth preservation here. And again, that's what I'm all about with gold, silver, and platinum. Wealth preservation, not get rich quick. If you want to get rich quick, you're in the wrong market, folks. Unless you play that commodities game or you leverage yourself in the paper markets. That's the only way you're going to get rich quick in gold, silver, and platinum. 24 reasons why owning physical gold is imperative. I'd love to read this to you, but I'm going to skip on to the next thing. And I think you would love to read this too because there's some good data in here. Make sure that you go to Gold Switzerland and read Why Buy Gold, or just type in Why Buy Gold when there's Bitcoin and Tesla. A bunch of links will pop up that you can click. Let's take a look at some precious metal prices here before we get into yesterday's comments. I thought it was going to be down a little bit. Look at this range, 1726, which I saw in the early morning markets, and a high of 1745. And we're currently sitting at 1740, so I was really surprised to see gold markets up a little bit this morning. It looks like New York's leading the way as far as prices today, as far as upward goes. Silver at 24.92. It looks like it bounced down to that 24.44 and 25.19. You know, but for all intents and purposes, silver is just hanging right on to where it is. I think the reason silver hasn't gotten monkey hammered as bad like gold has in the last 6 months is because there is a short squeeze going on right now with physical. There's a lot of people out there asking for physical delivery. All that press that short squeeze thing got, I think, alerted more and more people to the scam that's going on with ETFs, COMEX, and London markets. That people figure, hey, I'm going to get in on that because this looks legit. And it's not like a GameStop thing where you know, you got to rely on someone else. And GameStop, really, what is GameStop? GameStop made no money. It's a shit company. It's a shit corporation, in my opinion. The only reason it's worth anything is because people loaded money into it. The beauty of gold, silver, and platinum is worth something because it's worth something. It's finite. It's tangible. It's made by colliding stars. It's that rare. And it's real money for 5,000 years. So that's my opinion here again. Platinum sitting around 1169. I'm really surprised platinum hasn't more than it did. The white metals seem to be down a little bit compared to gold right now. But again, you know my opinion, sub $2,000 gold, sub $30 silver, and sub $1,300 platinum are steals and deals. So just buy them. We're going to get into the premiums that you should and should not pay here shortly as well. But let me get in the comments right now. Yesterday's video, gold and silver squeeze. I'm going to read off some of the comments here. Stack boy, gas was cheap because Obama had this country headed up. Now look, this is insane. I wish Obama could run again. Stack boy, you know, everybody has their favorite presidents, and I don't knock that. Everybody has their opinion on who's the best and who could run things best. But the truth of the matter is, whether you are a Ronald Reagan guy, a Trump guy, an Obama guy, a Biden guy, the truth is these guys don't run the world. Jerome Powell and his central banker buddies do. So the moment that you think that that these guys really, all politicians do is they either take credit for what the markets are doing, which is a result of central bankers and of the business world and people like myself and you, how good the economy is. They either take credit for the economy or they blame it on the other guy. But really, they have very little to do with the economy. The only time they have something to do with the economy is when they actually start making laws. And then they invariably screw it up and make it worse. And that's both sides. There hasn't been any fiscal conservatives in Washington, D.C. in decades. Anyway, let me move along here. Michael Fernandez, silver will be the next Bitcoin. Oh boy, I hope not, Mike. I mean, I think maybe when you're talking about the prices going way up, but I hope as far as being banned by Powell, no, I hope that doesn't happen. But I think I get exactly what you're saying. It's going to be a 45-degree angle straight up at some point with precious metals. Don't you mean gold and silver smash? Yes, I do, sir. Rick, hey, so nice to listen to you, Brian. Thanks for your hard work. Thank you for watching, Rick. I appreciate that. Leroy, raining a bit cold in Philly. Well, that's pretty cool. I hope you have a good coin dealer locally that you're buying from up there, Leroy, and he should be able to match or beat any of the online guys like I do. I just wanted to put that comment in there, shamelessly plugging myself and your local dealer. Michael Fernandez, no silver in the vault. You must default. Absolutely, sir. It looks like Perth defaulted on unallocated accounts yesterday. And if you don't know what allocated means and unallocated means, we've talked about it many times in the show in the last year. You need to know what those two words mean. Just Google search allocated and unallocated. Chris Lunda, hey brother, thanks for the shout out. Love the channel. Let me clarify my $50 remarks. Not only today's silver charts laughable, but more importantly, historical charts that represent a period of free market. You guys can read the rest of this. Chris, I agree with you 100%. I appreciate the shout out as well. I appreciate you watching this, and I think that you get the picture here, and we're on the same page. Again, thanks for watching, Chris. Leaves are powder, good stuff. Thanks for what you do. Well, thanks for watching, Leaves are powder. I really appreciate it. In other words, you don't sound anything like a raving lunatic. Well, I guess you don't know me that well, sir. I can go on my raves, I guess, too. You hear me sometimes. I rant here, just babble on. But again, I appreciate you guys watching. I really do. Or listening, I guess I should say. Thanks, William. I really appreciate you watching, too. Leroy, one of the reasons they need higher oil prices is to blame inflation coming from there. I just think they don't want to see any inflation coming from anywhere at this point. Stackboy, I really appreciate your comments there. Great point. Trump did that to China in January, tariffs. What else we got here? There's some interest in info. Wall Street sucks or something. I forget what the name of that forum is, Robert. But yeah, I agree. I read some of that Wall Street forums or whatever that they're talking about gold and silver, and really a lot of the commenters have no freaking clue what they're talking about. But that's our job, to go on those forums and educate them and not berate them. You know what I mean? The important thing is when people disagree with you, you have to make your case. You have to make your point. You can't sit there and insult them and say you're stupid, you're ignorant, and all that stuff. You have to make your point, and at that point, if they don't want to listen, why waste your breath? But meanwhile, our job is to go out there and educate these people, sir, and I sincerely believe that. That's what I feel like I'm doing here. Best deals out there right now. I'm going to, oh, by the way, hit the like and subscribe button if you're new to my channel, and I really appreciate that. It helps me know that people are watching, and of course YouTube algos like the like button, so my videos will get more out there. And I only deal locally. I'm a brick and mortar. I do no. Excuse me. Let me take a sip of coffee here. It's hard to do these things straight through. Hold on one sec. I only do direct face-to-face sales. We don't do any online sales, any phone sales. So if you're listening to my videos and you want to do business with me, I'm really sorry about that. My advertising here for my local people is that I will beat all the online major guys, SD Bullion, ATMEX Bullion, JM Bullion. I will beat their selling prices. If you come in, just tell me what the lowest price they have for the quantity that you want to buy, and we will beat that price if we have the product on hand. And we mostly always do. Meanwhile, there's nothing wrong with those companies. It's just easy for me to beat their prices. And as I always say, if you don't live in my area, please go to your local coin and precious metal dealer, coin and or precious metal dealers, and see if they can meet or beat the online sellers' prices. Keep that freaking money local, folks. That's real important, especially in these times. So the best deal out there right now is 90% U.S. silver coin. There's no sales tax in Florida, no matter the amount that you buy. Unlike a lot of other products in Florida, the generics, you have to pay sales tax if you're spending under $500. But 90 is the best deal on silver right now, cheaper than 1-ounce bars and cheaper than 100-ounce bars and 10-ounce bars. I don't recommend buying Silver Eagles. They're way overpriced. If you're paying more than a $5 per ounce premium, in my opinion, they're overpriced. And as much as I love American Eagles and tell you to buy local, in this case, I'm going to tell you, well, these are made by U.S. Mint. So buy 90% made by the U.S. Mint instead of for $3 and $4 over the price of silver, instead of buying Silver Eagles made by the U.S. Mint for $8 over, which is ridiculous. This is a better deal out of all the U.S. Mint products. Best deal out there in bars is still 100-ounce bars right now. They're anywhere from $3.50 to $4.50 over spot. If you're paying more than that, again, don't pay more than that online. Check with your local dealer, see if you can match those prices. Gold Eagles and Buffaloes are still at that $190 to $210 over the price of gold online, even by the cheapest sellers out there. Way overpriced, even though if you do insist on owning Gold Eagles or Buffaloes, I will sell them to you and I will beat all the online sellers' prices. But the best deal is, and if you ask me when you come in my store, even if you don't ask me, I'm going to tell you, the best deal out there is bars, 1-ounce bars. You can get good 1-ounce bar products out there starting at like $80 to $90 over spot. And if you're buying larger quantities, probably even less. You're saving $100 per ounce. So for every Gold Eagle you buy, you can buy one of these gold bars, has the exact same content, plus about 3 ounces of silver. So way, way better deal. Well, that's it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Call me anytime at 954-493-8811 between the hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Happy to help you with any of your questions and give you what the best deal of the day is. That's really about it. If anything crazy happens today, I'll do another video. If not, I will talk to you tomorrow. Meanwhile, folks, just keep buying up that real metal. Keep holding it, stashing it, and hiding it somewhere good in your house or somewhere. That's it. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.